We are going to read the story, Who Was William Shakespeare? William Shakespeare, who lived 400 years ago in England, wrote more than 30 plays and more than 150 poems. Shakespeare's words have been repeated more than those of any other English language author. Do you know the names of Romeo and Juliet? They are characters in a play by Shakespeare about young people in love. Did you ever hear anyone say, "Parting is such sweet sorrow"? Shakespeare penned these words for Juliet to speak to Romeo. William Shakespeare was born in the small town of Stratford-on-Avon, England, in 1564. When he grew up, he married Anne Hathaway, and they had 3 children. Later, Shakespeare went to London, the largest and most exciting city in England. He joined a theater company so he could write and act in plays. Shakespeare was so successful that he was able to purchase one of the biggest houses in Stratford-on-Avon in 1597. Powerful and important people such as aristocrats, kings, and queens enjoyed Shakespeare's plays. England's ruler, Queen Elizabeth I, was one of his fans. King James I, who took the throne when Elizabeth died, also lavished praise on Shakespeare. When Shakespeare retired from the theater business, he moved back to his ground house in Stratford-on-Avon, where he died in 1616. Shakespeare lived in an age long before newspapers, radio, news broadcasts, TV talk shows, movies, or cell phones. There are long periods in his life about which we know nothing. Also, the spelling of his name and his signature are not always the same on papers from his time. After the writer's death, some people did not believe the plays and poems of Shakespeare were really written by the man of that name. Today, people still argue about this question. Some people point out that Shakespeare was a small-town boy who never went to college or traveled very far. They do not think that William Shakespeare had enough knowledge to have written the great plays and poems. They think that a wealthier, better educated person must have been the real Shakespeare. Derek Jacobi, a famous English actor, has said that there is reason to wonder who Shakespeare really was. He is in good company. The famous American writer Mark Twain believed that the real writer of Shakespeare's plays was some person who has been lost to history. The English writer Charles Dickens said that the life of Shakespeare was a fine mystery. Orson Welles, a famous American actor and director, said he thought the Earl of Oxford, who was a powerful nobleman, actually wrote the works. On the other hand, many people still believe that William Shakespeare of Stratford-on-Avon wrote the plays that bear his name. They say that a good imagination is more important than to be a successful writer than education or travel or wealth. Perhaps it doesn't matter whether we know who the true Shakespeare was. We still can enjoy his plays and poems, whoever he was. Number 13. Which phrase does not state a fact about William Shakespeare? A, he was born in 1564. B, he was a better writer than an actor. C, he died in 1616. Or D, he wrote over 150 poems. 14. Which statement can be proved? Which means, which of these is a fact? Shakespeare was the most popular person in Stratford-on-Avon. G, in Shakespeare's time, Stratford-on-Avon was a boring place to live. H, parting is such sweet sorrow is a line from the play Romeo and Juliet. Or J, Queen Elizabeth I was a better ruler than King James I. Which one is a fact? Number 15. Which of the following graphic features would add the most to this section? Which means, which of these items would help this article to be better? A table listing of the major works of Shakespeare, or B, a timeline of Mark Twain's life, or C, a diagram of the Shakespearean theater, which means like a map showing you what the Shakespearean theater looked like, or D, a photograph of Derek Jacobi. Okay, number 16. Which statement expresses an opinion? Shakespeare was a writer. G, Shakespeare lived in London for a long time. H, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway. Or J, Shakespeare was a great writer. Remember, you're looking for an opinion. Number 17. Which phrase explains why Shakespeare joined the theater company? A, so he could be with friends with actors. B, so he could visit Queen Elizabeth I. C, so he could live in London. Or D, so he could write and act in plays. Number 18. Which person did not express an opinion about Shakespeare? F, the Earl of Oxford. G, Derek Jacobi. H, Mark Twain. Or J, Orson Welles. Now, each of these people are mentioned in the story, but you have to read very specifically which person did not express an opinion about Shakespeare. Number 19. When Dickens called Shakespeare a fine mystery, he isn't expressing an opinion. That means the play and poems written by Shakespeare are hard to understand. Or B, Shakespeare was the best mystery writer ever. Or C, there are a lot of unanswered questions about Shakespeare's life. Or D, writers never reveal very much about themselves. So Dickens, he's the one that wrote that Shakespeare is a fine mystery. So you need to figure out which one of these explains what Dickens was expressing. Number 20. What is the main idea of the passage? F, kings, queens, and other powerful people in England used to enjoy the theater. G, we do not know for sure who actually wrote under the name of Shakespeare. Or H, Stratford-on-Avon, England is one of the most famous places in the world. Or J, Romeo and Juliet is everyone's favorite Shakespearean play. You're looking for the main idea. All of these things are kind of parts and pieces, but which one talks about the entire article? Make sure your name's on your test and turn it in.